common issue that students deal with is the parking situation at Blaine College in Bryan. Using the steps of PMOP, we're going to describe and analyze the problems. A few of the problems are that when students are coming to campus in the middle of the day or they're leaving, the parking lot is already full. And there's only 3 exits with thousands of students entering and leaving at once, so it creates a lot of chaos. There is a lot of standstill traffic in the parking lot for long periods of time. There's been times when I'm in my car for a good 30-40 minutes just sitting in my car waiting for an opportunity to exit. We don't have many crosswalks, so a lot of students have to walk in front of cars and just in front of the traffic, and I feel like that can get pretty dangerous. Of course, this causes a lot of students to be late for class. And there's also not enough pay-to-park spots. It's either you buy a parking spot or you want to pay to park, but there's just not enough of them. And a source that I found on the internet by Higher Ed, they provide a graphic where a graphic table where they provide percentages of issues and just what students agree with. And there's a lot of lack of parking and how inconvenient it is for a lot of students to have to leave an hour, 2 hour early to just get to campus on time for their class. Not to mention that they are paying a lot of money to park on campus, so I think providing more space for students would be the best.
The second step in PMOPs is generating and explaining possible solutions. This focuses on creatively finding and listing possible solutions to a problem. Some solutions that we came up with for the current problem, which is the parking at Blaine campus, would be build another parking lot, because we only have one big parking lot but limited spaces. So it'd be easier if there's another parking lot so more students can park and no one has to worry about whether they would get a parking spot or not going to school. Add more pay to park spaces. Some people don't want to pay $100, $200 for a parking pass, so they would just do the pay to park for that specific day, which saves money in the long run. Have someone direct traffic, which is also a huge thing because it would just keep the flow of the cars moving, so not everyone is stopped at the same time. So they would make it be less of a jam. Alternate class times to avoid one massive rush. Make more exits would also be a huge thing because it wouldn't be so many cars going out the same exit. There was multiple ways to get out, so there wouldn't be so much cars in one spot at the same time. Having parking garages would also benefit because there's levels to parking garages, so there's more spaces for students to park and not have to worry about if they would not end up getting a parking spot going to class that day. More crosswalks, because there is not a lot of crosswalks on the campus, so when students are crossing, when cars are trying to go through, it stops the people trying to leave or trying to get to school, and then it makes traffic start and people are waiting for other people to go through. So more crosswalks would be better because that's where they could be crossed at instead of crossing whenever they please. And Who Put the UGG in Campus Parking article, it gives solutions on dealing with parking at your campus.
So after we got together and brainstormed a few ideas, we decided we were going to move on to evaluating the possible solutions that we came up with. This is the next step in PMOPs. We did this by weighing out the pros and cons of each individual solution that we came up with, and then kind of weeded out the ones that we didn't think work were going to be feasible. One of the things that we weeded out was parking garage at Bowen. That's probably not the best idea because it's just going to be congested there. People are going to be going both ways in a parking garage, and that doesn't seem like it'll solve the problem at all. So our goal is to shrink it down to 3. We did this, and then we were evaluating the risks and rewards from the remaining 3. The first thing that we came up with was building more parking lots and linking them to the exits. If you look at a map, there's a plot of land on like the northeast corner of Blinn. That would be a perfect spot for another parking space, as well as like it'll spread out the parking situation, hopefully lead more people to park over there because it's closer to some of the buildings. And then you can get out those back exits over there that no one takes because they're way out of the way. The second one is going to be alternating classes. One of my sources, University Business, ended up having this at number 5 on their list. They thought that it would be easier to manage if you could alternate the classes, but again, we thought it would be a little bit more challenging than just adding another parking lot because you would have to work through the schedule of professors and students and all that, and it might not just be the cleanest transition. Then the last one we came up with was directing traffic, thinking it would be easier to clear people out during the busy times, and you can kind of show people to certain ways, get them off campus, while also allowing people to come on campus and get in those spots that are still left.
I will be going over the 4th stage of the PMOPs, which is choosing the best solution for our group. Our group came to the conclusion that the best way to fix the Blinn parking situation would be to add more parking lots and to the available lots that aren't being used right now. There are plenty of places of land that aren't used by Blinn right now that could be turned into parking spots that could help direct the flow of traffic. Parking.net describes a parking lot as a convenient and safe way to have vehicles park next to a facility. At Blinn, this is, however, not the case. Blinn can be sometimes unsafe when there's people walking out of class and in between cars, and there's really only one main parking lot around the buildings. If we added more parking lots around the buildings, this would help direct the flow of traffic towards the exits, and it would be more safer for students to walk around on campus. It would also help direct the flow of traffic to our 2 or 3 exits, which kind of get backed up whenever everybody's trying to flow out of one spot. This would help direct the traffic and make things more efficient.
The last step of the procedural model of problem solving is implementing a solution. Because our biggest issue is traffic and not having enough parking spaces on campus, we decided that the best solution was to make more parking lots and link more exits to these parking lots. By looking at several maps, we saw that there is an empty plot of land on the northeast side of campus that would be perfect to turn into an extra parking lot. By adding extra parking lot, we're adding extra spaces for visitors, extra pay to park by hour spaces, and the school would also be able to sell more student passes for the semesters. In addition to adding the parking lot, we also decided that spacing out the exits and adding more exits would be productive to controlling the flow of traffic and spreading out how many kids are going to what exit at a time, because this is a really big cause of backup on campus. So from our original problem of campus parking not having enough and exits being too overwhelmed, we decided and brainstormed about 8 different solutions that we could have gone with. And after evaluating all of them as a group, we decided on the best solution of adding more parking lots. And this is how we decided implementing the solution would be best, all by using the procedural model of problem solving.